Hello and welcome to Trade Talks Unlocking the Experience. I'm your host, Kayla McGowan, and today, starting off our season strong, is Andre Zwanenburg. He is the executive manager at the Asbestos Institute. Welcome, Andre.
Thank you. How are you today?
Good. I am great. I'm super excited that we are starting off this series with you and a couple of other cool people in the industry who are chatting about, themselves and the sessions that they're going to host at the experience. So, before we dive into, really who you are, your session at the experience and all that fun stuff, let's kind of take it back to the beginning and kind of share, what your journey was getting into asbestos and environmental safety and what keeps you passionate about those types of topics. So that's a lot in one question, but we'd love to learn more about Andre and where he comes from.
Fantastic. Well, my journey started in this industry more than 30 years ago, and it actually didn't even start in the United States. I'm actually born and raised in the Netherlands. I got my chemistry degree, and right after college, I started in the asbestos world as a consultant. The Dutch government had just banned asbestos, and asbestos became a growing industry in the Netherlands. And, I thought there was going to be millions to be made. I'm still waiting for that, but who knows? In 1997, I left the Netherlands because I had just met a young lady online and she lived in the Pacific Northwest. I moved there, and this year we're celebrating 28 years of marriage. So we're still together, it's still working out. And I started working for some different consulting firms here in the US. I actually worked for an asbestos abatement company as a senior project manager estimator and went back to consulting. And the last 10 years, I've been doing full-time teaching. It progressed into education, sharing my field experience, sharing my knowledge, and making sure that the industry is represented correctly. I think one thing that keeps me passionate is seeing new people come in the industry. Um, I start calling these people young kids. I'm in my mid 50s myself, so but seeing new people getting into the industry and wanting to do the right thing, I think that's the big one. It's not just making a dollar, it's not just compliance, is wanting to do the right thing. And because of the field experience that I have, I'm able to share a lot of those kind of things with people.
Well, and I would say first and foremost, congratulations on 28 years of marriage with your lovely wife. Uh,
Thank you.
Second of all, for those who may not know, I have family still in the Netherlands, so really cool to kind of see and learn about Andre that we share that. It's really great to see how our lives align and some commonalities that we have outside of our industry, right? That's what
Yes,
we do every day. That's how people see us is in our profession. So really cool stuff. And
awesome.
you moved to the United States and haven't looked back, right? You started a family, you started a business, and that kind of takes me to my next question, which you are with the Asbestos Institute. And for those who may not really know much about the Asbestos Institute, what do you guys do and why is it so important to our industry?
Yeah, so I am not only the executive manager, I'm also the co-owner of the Asbestos Institute. Since 2024, my business partner Jay and I have bought the Institute. And we've been around since 1988. We're actually one of the oldest asbestos training companies in the United States, and we're one of the largest asbestos training companies in the United States. We have multiple locations. Our main office is here in Phoenix, but we teach classes in Las Vegas. We teach classes all over the United States. And breaking news, we are opening a new office in Eastern Idaho in June. So this is breaking news. You get the premiere on this interview. So Jay, my business partner, will be opening our Idaho office in June over there. So we're going to have representation up north a lot more. We teach classes related to asbestos, to lead, hazmat, think about hazardous waste, DOT, HAZWOPER, and we do that both here in classroom or at the students' locations. If a company would want us to come specifically to their location, we do that and we travel all over the US. We have accreditations in I'm thinking about 37 different states, so we can teach almost all over the US.
That's amazing. I would definitely say for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to observe Andre teaching, I had the experience at EIA earlier this year, and it was phenomenal. I believe your topic was Haswhopper, and it was really well put together. You are a great animated presenter, I will say. You definitely keep people engaged. You did a really good job, and it was really cool to see what we can expect at the experience and the level of passion and care that you bring into your teachings, if you will. So, with
Well,
that
thank
being,
you.
yeah, you're so welcome. So, with that being said, let's talk about your session at the experience and what are a few key takeaways that you hope that attendees do take away from your session this fall?
Well, I think the number one takeaway is let's remove the myths about asbestos. I think the restoration industry, first of all, gets a bad name sometimes when it comes to asbestos, about not caring, not wanting to comply. And I want to, first of all, say that's a myth. I see it in my classrooms every day. But I also want to talk about in my session about the requirements in the rules and regulations. Asbestos is so highly regulated, but it's very difficult to understand in some cases. So, one of the things I'm going to really share with everybody is the requirements for asbestos inspections. I think most restoration companies know or think they know that an asbestos inspection is not needed on housing. Most restoration companies will do single family residences. And one of the things I will share, and it comes fairly early on in my session, that's a myth. Asbestos sampling and inspections are required regardless of the age of the building, regardless of the size of the project, regardless of what type of building it is. Now, some regulations may not apply to housing, and I'm going to bring that in a very clear and precise manner.
I would definitely say I think asbestos is one of those hot topics, if you will, but also widely misunderstood to your point. And it's really important to make sure that we slow down just a bit and really understand the facts and the myths and the do's and the don'ts, especially for people who don't really dabble in that, maybe, especially, right? And they
Yeah,
don't
I
really
agree.
understand. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I agree. And I think it's mostly because it is so heavily regulated that we miss the nuances. And I think that's where I want to focus. Now, it's not going to be a boring session where I'm going to go over each line in the regulation. As you said, I'm very animated and I'm having a passion for asbestos. So it's going to be a session where I want interaction of my attendees. I want to hear their stories, but it's going to be the basic short and sweet. When do I need a survey? What does a good survey look like? I mean, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of people out there that say they're allowed to do sampling, but are they? And are you getting what you pay for?
Yeah. I was gonna say my husband always says buy it nice or buy it twice. This is the same thing about the surveying that we have done in this industry, really in the work too, everything that we do in this industry, if you would like quality, you're going to pay for it, right? Like that's just how it really works out at the end of the day. What we do isn't cheap. And so I think you kind of breaking that down will bring some much needed clarity in our industry. So with that being said, I know you've attended, I know you know people who have attended the experience. Why do you believe attending the experience is such a valuable experience for industry professionals?
Well, I think it's really interesting. The experience is kind of a unique conference because it has so many different facets of what we do. If we look at other conferences, it's really related to the renovation contractor, the cleaning contractor. Here at the Experience, it's one of the only conferences I see where training providers are going to be there. We even have regulators. I talked to a regulator last year at the Experience. We're going to have restoration contractors. We're going to have insurance agents. And I think those, I really hope that they and come to my session because there is a big disconnect there potentially. But at the Experience, you really get to experience, no pun intended, the industry from the insurance call all the way up to the disposal of your material, being construction debris, being asbestos debris. Everybody is represented there, and the sessions show it. I said in a few sessions last year where as a industry nut that I am, I still learn stuff. And I'm doing this 33 years now. So that just says something.
Yeah, and I would definitely say too, to your point, and you echo what I think a lot of us say is you could be in the industry for 30, 40, 50 years, but you should still be absorbing and learning something every conference, every session you attend, and that's really the goal. I also think too, you meet people who you otherwise wouldn't have met, to your point, from the carriers to cleaners to adjusters, if you will, to trainers like yourself. There's just an array of people that come to the experience for all different reasons. But the greatest thing I will definitely say is there's always something to learn, right? And that's one
I
of the things
agree.
that I definitely say is so important in this industry. We're always grinding and hustling. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of slow down for a minute and learn. These sessions are, 30-ish minutes, and it gives people the opportunity to be interactive throughout the entire time and ask questions. But most importantly, you still have time to meet and talk to people during the networking opportunities that we have too, right? So your conversations didn't just stop in the session rooms, they carried on into the trade show floor and things like that. So we're excited to have you. We can't wait to, see what you have in store for everybody. But before we close, most people keep some fun facts to themselves, maybe to their smaller circle. So, what is one fun fact about you that many in our industry may not know?
Oh, I got two for you. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
I'm
that's
different.
okay.
I'm always different. So number one, my passion for asbestos is so great that I actually wrote a book about asbestos. I had to put something to paper, and it was about 2 years now, maybe a year ago. I even wrote a book about asbestos, and it's the basics. It's almost like what I'm going to be talking about. So it's out there. The second thing is I roast my own coffee and I drink most of it. I give it away to some friends and family, but I roast my own coffee beans and I have a huge passion for coffee.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. Did not know you had a passion for coffee. I too am a coffee drinker. I love just experiencing the different flavors and tastes and type of roasts that you can find everywhere. One of the things that I love to do, which I don't know if you do this, but when I go and visit somewhere new, I always try and find a local like coffee shop to see what they have, what they bring in house and all that fun stuff. But I don't know where you find the time to roast your own beans, Andre. How is that even possible?
I do have an hour here and there on the weekends that I spend there, but yeah, most of my time is dedicated to my company, my employees, and mostly my students. I care about my students, and the main reason I care about my students is the fact that we're all going to leave this world behind at some point. Let's use the time today to leave a legacy behind us. It's not about me, it's about the the topic. It's about making the world a little bit better by being who we are and what we say.
Yes, well said. I will definitely say at the end of the day, we need to take advantage of the time that we do have here now and make the most of it and the best of it. And, leaving the industry better than we found it is always the end goal, right? It's always going
Correct.
to evolve, it's always going to grow and get better. So, last little thing before we sign off, what's the name of your book in case anybody would like to grab a copy?
So it's available on Amazon and it's about asbestos, and the name is Asbestos. Where did we go and how did we get here? So, but type in my name, Andre, and then Zwanenburg, and you'll come up with my book. There's actually two out there. There's one about lead too. So, but the asbestos book is how did we get here and where are we going? So, available on Amazon.
Awesome, thank you. I will share the details down in the description below, as well as Andre's sessions details for the experience for all of you watching. Thank you for joining in to this episode of Trade Talks, Unlocking the Experience. We'll see you next time. Take care.